Fans of the uber-popular show NCIS Los Angeles were worried when they tuned into the latest episode of the show and noticed that one of the show's mainstay characters was missing. And it didn't take long for fans of the show and the character to take to the internet to find out why. In today's video, we're going to be diving into LL Cool J's mysterious absence from the latest episode of NCIS Los Angeles. Stick around because you are not going to want to miss a second of this crazy video. Is LL Cool J done with the show? Longtime fans of the show are most likely aware that longtime star LL Cool J, who plays Special Agent Sam Hanna on the show, was mysteriously missing from the latest episode of the show, which aired on March 13th of 2022. Many fans instantly assumed the worst and thought that LL Cool J was either fired from the show or had decided that he had simply had enough of the show after 13 seasons of starring on it. Well, for those of you who are still unsure of his whereabouts, let me ease your mind. LL Cool J is still very much on the show, and he will be in the remainder of the series from here on out. The episode even mentioned that Sam and his daughter left to go tend to Sam's father, who had a spill. While this is a rather weak explanation as to why one of the biggest characters in the series isn't in the latest episode, it frankly doesn't matter. Why? Because they could have literally used any excuse and it would have been valid. Because regardless of the excuse for Sam not being a part of this episode, LL Cool J would not have been available to shoot this episode. So take this excuse, warts and all, and get over it. Because LL Cool J is in fact here to stay. Why was he not available to shoot this episode? Now that I have assured all of you that LL Cool J is still on the show, I'm sure it is leading most of you to wonder, why wasn't he available for this episode? And that would be a very valid question. Cool J has been playing Sam Hanna for 291 episodes and 13 seasons. So him not being in an episode is arguably as strange as Walter White not being in an episode of Breaking Bad, or Boba Fett not being in an episode of the Book of Boba Fett. For people who watched the Book of Boba Fett, do you see what I did there? Good burn, right? Anyway, it was valid for longtime fans of the show to freak out at LL Cool J's random absence from this show, as this was the first episode of the show that he was not in. But LL Cool J did leave a clip of this episode on his Instagram just prior to its release, which made fans think that he would in fact be in it. But honestly, if fans had watched the clip on Cool J's Instagram, they would have noticed that the clip posted is the small snippet in which Fatma Namazi, played by Medallion Rahimi, explains why Hannah won't be around for this episode's case. Surprisingly, not a whole lot of people put it together that he would not be in this episode, even though he literally broadcasted the fact hours before the episode aired on TV. But why he wasn't in the episode is still unclear. Cool J and the rest of the crew have not yet said anything or disclosed any information as to why he was left out of this episode. My assumption is that it was something personal in LL's life that kept him from the set on shooting day, as I'm sure it would have taken a lot to keep him off the set to film this episode, as he has been a monumental part of the show since it began 291 episodes ago. What was the episode that he missed about? The episode that aired on March 13th, 2022 that left LL Cool J out of the mix was titled All the Little Things. The episode revolved around an abandoned baby that was left on an aircraft carrier. Deeks and Kenzie were sent to investigate a premature baby being abandoned at the USS Allegiance. After the pair found the baby, they immediately called for a search for the mother, as the child was literally just born, meaning that the mother cannot be far. The search begins, but things are not looking great for the team, as they know that every second that passes may spell certain doom for the mother, as she could have the placenta inside of her, which could cause a deadly infection. After a while, they finally find the mother, but she is unconscious, and she's immediately treated with blood transfusions as she's lost a great deal of blood. The mother then begins to inform the agents what happened, and she informs them that she was assigned to show the ship for residential contractors, but she requested to be reassigned to a different vessel after she was sexually assaulted by a coworker on the ship, which led to her pregnancy. With proof that she was assaulted in the form of a baby now being present, Kenzie immediately calls for an arrest warrant so they can arrest the perpetrator. Even with the child being born and the ability to have the child DNA tested to find out who the father is, the the man still denies his actions. The other storyline in the episode sees Anna and Callan make a huge discovery, and it is that there is an unknown person that is acting like Callan, but they do not know who they are or what their goals are. March 20th, 2022 premiered 2 episodes in one night, and they were both wild. Just 1 week after the Samless episode, we got a night that premiered 2 brand new episodes of NCIS Los Angeles. That's right, we first got Murmuration, which saw Sam reunite with the team after his 1-week hiatus to investigate an unidentified aircraft that entered U.S. airspace and then collided with a Navy plane. The team was tasked with investigating the mysterious aircraft, which led most people to believe that it was an alien attack because the Navy couldn't pick up any signals being used to operate the aircraft, meaning that it was an attack that had a pilot or it was aliens. With the crew being unable to accept the fact that it was aliens, they went to work to try and find out who was behind the attack. The crew talked to the pilot, who was certain that it was another ship that attacked him. Not birds or aliens, but another ship. The gang took a look at some footage that captured the incident, and they figured that the aircraft had a crash landing in the Santa Monica mountain range. So Kenzie and Deeks headed there. When they got there, they found no aircraft, but they did discover that it had already been moved. Just then, a podcaster reveals himself and said that he had seen a drone swarm every day for the past week, and that this must be a drone swarm. When the pair take this information back to the Navy officer, he tells them that that can't be the case because there would have been a signal coming from whoever was controlling the drone swarm, and since they couldn't find it, it can't be a drone swarm. The gang takes this particular case to a drone expert, and she determines that it is in fact a drone swarm, but the drones are a certain model that she created herself and then sold to the US military, and that the drones actually have a complicated AI system that allows the drones to adapt and learn to control themselves, allowing them to operate without a remote signal, which explained the lack of signal produced by the drone swarm. The gang is tasked with stopping the drone swarm, and Kilbride finally pulls the plug on the drones, saying that they were assigned to spy on American people as a way of training them to spy on America's enemies. He said that the team had no need to destroy them, as the military will cover up the crash by saying that the pilot collided with drones on a test flight and no harm was done, and there was no need to worry about imminent attack by either enemy countries or aliens. Make sure you tune in next week for the next episode of NCIS Los Angeles Season 13 so you don't fall behind. If you haven't caught up on this season or other seasons, the entire show is on Paramount Plus, where you can stream without interruptions. That's all we have for you guys today on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Were you worried when you didn't see LL Cool J in the March 13th episode of NCIS? What do you think of the episode that he wasn't in? What do you think of the 13th season so far? Let us know what you have to say in the comments section below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and to subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single upload from us here at the channel. Thank you all once again, and we'll see you all in the next video.